This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a huge thanks goes out to our boss-level patrons, Christopher and Patrick.
You line up for your race, get down on the blocks, you're ready. Your subordinates are cheering you on because you've instructed them to do so, and even though you've done precious little to prepare, you're ready. The gun goes off and you're out of the blocks. The moment your foot strikes the ground, you trip and fall right on your face. As you pull your face up, teeth full of loose gravel, everyone is watching in silent shock. Except your subordinates still cheering you on.
You're the best, boss!
You won, boss! Great
race.
job!
Ugh, it's so good to be an executive at Google.
This is Hanzo. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show.
It's the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And this is Trent.
And welcome to our morning episode.
Oh, I'm so tired.
We're recording, this might be one of our earliest recordings outside of Christian Spicer episode 1.
Oh, when was that?
We did it at like 8 in the morning.
Nope. God. No, it's bad. And I ran out of coffee. Jen and I ran
This
out of
morning?
coffee. Yeah, this morning. So
Good planning.
Yeah, so here we go. So good luck if all of us fall asleep in the middle of the episode.
It's gonna be
Enjoy it
like
anyway.
It's gonna be like 25 minutes long. We're gonna be grumbling the whole time.
Yeah.
And then we'll be done.
You're welcome. All the people that wanted
You guys are
shorter
gonna
episodes,
love it.
You've got it.
Kudos, I'm yours.
All right, Kudos is our positivity segment. I'd like to give a shout out to something we're into, and right now, I'm obsessed, you guys, with Skyrim VR. Now, I think I mentioned that when Jenna got me PSVR back in like last year, I went out straight. I went straight out and got Skyrim VR.
That's what you
Skyrim was
wanted.
one of my favorite games ever, and I was like, I wanted to play it.
No, you were like, new device, new console, gotta buy
Gotta
Skyrim.
get Skyrim on it,
Yeah.
right? I don't
New
have Skyrim
game.
on this yet. I got to go get Skyrim for it, so I have Skyrim on everything. And what I found was that I sat down, and this was before we got the wands. So we just got the VR system, and then we were like, yeah, it's pretty fun. And like, there's
The wands
games-
don't come with it. That's
No.
a separate, okay. I didn't know
No,
that.
yeah. So it's like $300+ bucks, but then the wands are another 100. So it's like,
Wow.
With the if you want to do PSVR right and with a single game, you're looking at like $1,000 with the system, with the PSVR itself.
Yeah, that's starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch, right? Yeah, it's pretty steep, and I was like, "Dang!" But we finally got there. Jenna finally got the wands like a couple months later. But I had tried out Skyrim VR with my controller and found it very lacking, and I was very disappointed and was like, "I'm never doing that again. That sucked."
What didn't you like with just the controller?
It was. I'm like, what am I getting out of this, right? Because I'm playing with a controller just how I normally play Skyrim, but I kind of like can look around.
Was that not enough, like, additional immersion to make you want to play it again, though?
No, because I had to look where I wanted to shoot. So my head became like the left stick.
Oh.
And it was exhausting. It was awful. It just sucked. Because I sit on my couch and I'm like looking at what I want to shoot and like doing this type of stuff, and then my hands are just down there and I've got this big old thing on my head. I just felt like a bobblehead idiot, and it just wasn't that fun.
You looked like a bobblehead idiot.
I bet I
too.
looked like super stupid. So I finally, just on a whim, because Jenna got these wands, I was like, I want to try Skyrim with the wands now, because I've been playing some of the other games with wands and I've been like really, really into it. So this is two little wands you hold in your hand instead of a controller.
like Harry Potter wands.
Kind of. Yeah, they have buttons
They're
on
made
them.
of wood.
Yeah, they
Big balls on the end of
Oh,
them.
they are made out of wood. But
Yeah.
yeah, just like in Harry Potter, they have big balls on the end.
Equally
And
magical
I
because
booted
I
up-
don't understand electric.
I booted up Skyrim and it's like, holy shit, I was playing it wrong, and now dude, it's battling for time in my mind during my free time with Outer Worlds, because I'm like, I don't know, there's just something about like picking up the wands and doing the magic spell, and like you hold the wand out with your hand, and if you twist it 180 degrees, your hand will rotate and show you your palm. It is hyper accurate. Like, it is so jarring to just like look down and like I did this, just like look down at my hands and just rotated them like back and forth. Good 5 minutes. I don't know. And then you can close them and open them and stuff, and like I just like on a whim, just
Punching
like
stuff.
I just punch someone in an inn, just like
And how
punch them in the fucking
accurate
head.
is that?
Crazy.
Because every time I picture like holding a wand and punching, I think of the Wii, where it was like, why won't
swinging
you
randomly?
punch?
No, it is like I said, it is shockingly accurate. I had so you start Skyrim like you just have like whatever basic sword and your fire spell in your left hand, and I'm like, I don't ever need to change this. Like I don't feel like I need to go get a cool weapon because I mean I've only fought wolves and Draugr. Draugrs are those dead zombie guys.
Yep.
But I was able to kill a Draugr overlord. So, and I already, it's super funny. It starts.
So do you think you'd be able to kill one in real life now?
Yeah, pretty much.
When
I've
you're
practiced.
like ramping up a spell, does it shake in your hand as the fire's getting ready
The
to go?
feedback
too?
is unbelievable. When I
nice.
hit something with it, I feel it. Like it is. I'm telling you, it's without a doubt the most immersive VR game I've played beyond the full VR thing that you do at that. What's that shit called?
The Void?
The Void. Yeah,
Oh.
I did the Void, but this is very close second to the Void because of just how immersive between the. And then you put the headphones in too, and the Skyrim soundtrack, the Skyrim, sound design, which is second to none, the voice acting, none of that's changed, and so it still feels very, very Skyrim-y, and you can just like. I mean, at this point, people would play Skyrim on like a refrigerator touchscreen and be happy with it, and that's kind of where I'm at. I just think it's amazing. I think the spells are super cool.
And you were going to tell me about the movement.
Okay,
how does
so
the movement
it's
work?
so weird. So it starts you by default starts you at novice difficulty, which I've already turned up twice because.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was.
Here's a little brag.
It was
oh,
like-
you're so cool, Jake.
I think
You're
they
so
put it
good.
down.
You're so good at video games. I don't know anyone as good as you.
Well, hey, put it super low because I think they're imagining people playing like Wii style and just whiffing all the time, and so they're like, if you connect with a bad guy with your sword and it touches him, he'll die. And so it's like, okay, that's too easy. I don't want that. So I turn it up because the guys are just way too squishy. But it also starts you out with and so there's either you can rotate using two different buttons on the left wand. Left button makes you go left and right makes you look to the right. And so that rotates your character where you're facing. You can also change that so it snaps. So when you press one of those buttons, it snaps you about 90 degrees to the left or 90 degrees to the right. And so if you press it twice in quick succession, you'll turn around really quick. So it starts you off with that.
Oh,
and
man,
then
that sounds dizzying.
Yes! That's the default. Why is that the default? It's so crazy. So that's the default setting for the movement. And then the actually moving your character, the default is that you point with your left wand where you want, and it highlights on the ground where you're pointing, and you can jump. You basically teleport anywhere between 1 and like 10, 15 feet. So you can go fairly far.
But still, to me, that's been the biggest drawback of VR. Completely. Is that ruins the immersion.
Yes.
Is that teleporting around.
Right. Unless it's a game that I've played a game that like that was part of it. Like your character could teleport. It was like technology.
It's either that or they have you on tracks, essentially. Where
Oh,
you're, like,
tracks are the worst. And so I was like, okay, can I change this? And I changed them both. I made it smooth rotation, so you
And
can
then you
smooth
just walk
rotate,
with the thumbstick.
and then you just hold the button. There's a big button on the left wand. You just hold it, and it just makes you walk forward. And then the bottom left button will make you walk backwards. So you can walk forward, backward, left, and right. You can't strafe. That's the biggest drawback is there's no strafing, but you can make do. I don't think there's a lot of I don't think you do a lot of strafing in Skyrim anyway. And so I was, dude. So I've adjusted it. I think the defaults are really weird. Like by default, it's really, really unsettling and unnatural, but then you change it and it says when you change it, are you sure this isn't the recommended
Because I know
experience?
for a lot of people that like full locomotion moving like
It's
that
just
makes them sick.
Oh, that's probably a good point. And what's crazy to me is, do you remember back in the day, like on the Dreamcast, for example, because the Dreamcast didn't have two joysticks, and if you wanted to add like strafing, so you can move your character with two different, you would have buttons. They would take the buttons from you, and so you would use the 4 buttons A, B, X, and Y as your movement. That's exactly how this feels. So I'm like, I feel like I'm familiar with this already. Is this type of gameplay where you are using buttons to move around instead of joysticks? And so it feels great. It feels great. I just have the highest praise for this. I don't know if I can do a review because, as with any Skyrim game, it takes you 2 years to beat it.
Yeah.
And
I want to come try it.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm
And
deciding if I want to get it.
yeah, you should come try it because it is. It's so amazing. And like you said, a game that doesn't take you out of it. You are so immersed, and having a massive world and you know it's there and you could walk from one end of Skyrim to the other.
Have you been into a city yet? Mm-hmm. How does that look?
It's great. It's great. I mean, okay, so you say how does it look? Yeah, it looks like N64 graphics.
Yeah.
It does not look great. But why I emphasize the sound design and everything else is like, you've played Skyrim enough, you could play it with your fucking eyes closed. Like, I don't need to even see any of it, and that's not what I'm in it for, is like that type of things. But it still looks really good. It's like the best. It would, if this was a PS2 game, people would be like, this is the best PS2 game ever. So that's like where it's at. But the graphics are not that great. They're PS2 or lower. All right, let's do this.
Oh, I had just a quick kudos that I remembered.
Okay.
It was just a cool story that I saw. We all know Australia is on fire.
It's just the whole fucking country.
Yeah, it's not a good situation over there. And I loved this. The Australian government, in order to feed because a lot of the marsupials, they get away, right? They're fast enough, they can just escape. So they get away.
And they can smuggle extra marsupials in their pouches.
Yeah.
You never know how many are escaping.
But they don't. But then they don't have all their like foraging place. They don't have food, right? Mm-hmm. And so they started just dropping thousands and thousands of pounds of sweet potatoes and carrots all over the country.
That's the coolest
They
thing
just
I've
go
ever
drop them.
Mm-hmm.
Helicopter. They just go drop a bunch of carrots.
Carrot drop.
And then there's in the
watch that
news
movie.
story. There's all these pictures
Operation Carrot
of
Drop.
little cute little animals just nibbling on an orange carrot. Everything's burnt around them, and they've got a bright orange carrot. Just
That's
nibbling.
the cutest thing ever. I got to see that.
So awesome.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, way to go. You know what I mean? Way to look out for one of your national treasures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just way to go. You know, priority number one.
Dude,
high priority, feed the marsupials.
Dude, I learned the
So
craziest
good.
thing about kangaroos. Kangaroos give birth to a little kangaroo. It's about the size of like a quarter.
Yeah, they're tiny.
And then they have to lay back, like the female kangaroo lays kind of sits back, as this tiny little pink thing has to climb from its vagina all the way up to the pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And if it falls off, that's it. Because it's not like she can like scoop it up and throw it in. It's done. And it's like the penguins that have to walk with their eggs. Imagine being that mom. You just give birth, which great, so easy. Marsupials
They're
are like
so tiny.
tight. That cost me nothing.
Take bigger dumps than that.
Yeah, exactly. And you just sit there and watch this tiny little pink thing, and you're like, "Come on, buddy. Come on, you can do this.
got this.
Come on."
Crawling up.
And then they drop in the pouch, and then
They get in,
they're
you're like,
"Cool,
yeah,
I did it."
my buddy.
I think it's the funniest thing I watched like them sit there. I watched a video of it, and the mom's like, "Come on,
Just holding so
sit with her
still.
fat belly
Holding her
out."
breath.
And this thing looks like it's like climbing like Half Moon in Yosemite.
Yeah,
like, oh
dude.
God, I was just
No.
born 2 seconds ago. Why do I have to climb this?
My muscles are not formed. I'm
What
not
are
ready for this.
muscles?
No, I have seen that, and it is pretty awesome.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news.
All right, our news this week, kind of like last week, brought to you by Crave Cookies. Not the kudos, just Crave. Trent, what is Crave Cookies' cookie of the week this week?
Crave Cookies cookie of the week this week is
Crave Cookies.
the chocolate orange.
Wait,
So-
okay.
This is we're kind of occasionally letting like some of our like staff make the cookies or come up with their cookies.
So cool.
So this is one of our employees came up with this one. So it's kind of like the dough's similar to the brookie, the brownie one, but it's got chopped up chocolate orange sticks in the dough.
No.
Tight.
And
That's
then
the
it's got
smartest
like
thing I've
an
ever heard.
orange cream cheese frosting on top of it.
I love it.
Like the little gelatin.
Yeah.
So you have little gelatin bites in your cookie.
Yeah.
How is it?
You know,
Does the
I've
gelatin
heard
melt?
it's really, really good. I'm not a huge chocolate orange fan. The good promo for the company right now. I'm not a huge chocolate orange fan myself, but everyone that tries it
I
loves
am.
it.
I love chocolate orange.
Here's the thing. If you liked every cookie you made, you'd be dead now.
Probably.
You'd have lost your foot to diabetes, and you'd be dead.
But we've gotten good like feedback so far on it. So
I
it launches
like.
today.
I like that you're just trying random stuff too. That's
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
So Crave Cookies, you can find them in Midvale, Utah, or you can find them at cravecookies.com.
Yep.
All right, so we've got a bunch of news, and then we've got some listener questions to get into. So let's just rapid fire this out. Although I'm not sure this first one's going to be rapid fire. Right. So I'll just read the. This is a headline on Business Insider. Some of the people who made an early bet on Google's ambitious attempt to revolutionize video games are losing patience. Now, I have to admit, this article, I went through it, and it's basically just based on a bunch of Reddit comments and Reddit posts.
Sweet.
But I looked into it more, and the Stadia subreddit and the Stadia Discord, that's like the entirety of their community. Stydia. The Stydia Discord and the Stydia subreddit, that's like the entirety of the community. It's like everyone that's like involved in that. So it's actually a fairly accurate gauge of how people are feeling, and they are ticked. Now, if you guys don't remember, I'll give you a quick refresher that Stadia is already saying was 2 months later.
It's been out for 3 months, and you're like, rip.
I was going to say this now extinct.
Had a good run.
They wanted to be. People kept saying they wanted to be the Netflix of video games, but that's so inaccurate and so disingenuous. They wanted to be the Amazon Prime Video of Netflix.
That's more accurate.
Of video game streaming, because they wanted you to pay a fat annual fee, like $100+, and then pay, just like with Amazon Prime Video, anything that's not like streaming on their service. They only have a few things streaming. A lot of it's just a storefront. That's what, if you go to Amazon Prime Video, like the app on your phone or on the on your TV, I'd say 60%, if not more, of the content listed there is for sale. And that's what Stadia is.
So it's a console.
Yeah, it's a console that you have to pay a subscription for, and you don't actually own any of the games physically because you can't. And after you spend all this money and they shut down their service, which Google is notorious for doing, you don't get to keep any of that stuff. So they released it 2 or 3 months ago, to no small amount of fanfare. People were okay. They had like 20 release titles. None of them, like one of them was exclusive to Stadia. All the other ones are games that are already out on other systems.
And are not new.
And are not good. Like, some of them are good, but...
So, their one exclusive, which is
indie game,
Darkside. Right? Well, they've got Darksiders Genesis, which it'll come out on other stuff, but right now it's only on Stadia. Reportedly is a very good game. But it's getting no buzz because it's on Stadia.
Right.
And who the heck's playing it? Nobody.
And that's the Darksiders that's more of like an isometric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposedly fun.
So the people that have it now are the founders. They're called founders because they invest in this early. And
you wanted to be a founder, it was like $130, $150 or something.
And what they found, these founders, is that they
use the
are
terms founders and invested pretty
the founders
loosely
are
here.
still looking.
Right, exactly, because they have discovered that there's like they're beta testers. They're beta testing. They paid to beta test this.
They paid premium dollars to beta test it.
Technically, I mean, they've got a nice Chromecast now, though. Like, they can use it for other stuff.
Yeah, but can't you get a Chromecast for like
if you don't have a smart TV yet.
$35?
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I think it's crazy. I think they have a free service. They've been talking about. They promised so many things.
Oh, the promises were huge.
They were like just these empty asinine Trump-esque promises, like things that you would never, that any rational human being.
You can play games on the moon.
Have they even released the free one yet?
No, not yet.
Just the subscription without buying the pro?
No, they haven't released that yet. But do you guys remember this? That in their announcement that they said you could just be watching a YouTube video and then click a button and you could be in that game right away. I'm like, guys, this is like, those are the presentations you give internally about like what we could possibly be doing in 10 years. Like, this is so outlandish that they weren't anywhere remotely near this. And quite frankly, the idea that they could sync up with the YouTube team, I think Google's entire corporate infrastructure is so heavily siloed, and it would be weird if it wasn't, that they think like, oh, well, we own YouTube, we do this, we can do that, I could just walk down the hall and talk to Jed from YouTube. No, you fucking can't, because Jed from YouTube's working on a different tech stack and doesn't give a shit about Stadia because it has nothing to do with his bottom line.
He probably works in a different city.
Yeah, and he's not going to put himself out there for you. So they find that like all these things like the Chromecast Ultra, they're like, oh, well, we own Chromecast, shouldn't we just be able to make that work? Nope, doesn't fucking work, sorry. So none of these things that all rely heavily on Google working together with other Google products that's been like one of their biggest failure points. How about the Google Pixel phones? It's the only phone that can play this, and they don't sync with it. You have to plug them in. So even
Can you imagine using a corded controller
Yes!
and playing games on your
on
phone?
your phone. You have to plug it in. It's unbelievable. So they don't have any integrations and with all of these different Google products. That the whole thing was predicated on is a successful integration with 50 different Google products, from YouTube to Pixel phones to Chromecast Ultra. It's like, we're going to use all of the Google products all at once. And I'm like, none of those work independently.
No. What they told you originally was anything with a screen.
Yes,
anything would work.
And there's literally no. If they're like, okay, well, do you have like a timeline when a different non-Google device or hey, a non-Pixel Google phone, like a Pixel 2, because it has to be Pixel 3 or higher, like maybe I could play on my Pixel 2. They're nothing. And that's been the biggest point of frustration for these people, is that they've been silent.
Well, they've got nothing. They
don't have anything to announce.
So listen what they announced for. These are the upcoming features that are going to be released on Stadia in first quarter.
Hold
this
your
year.
breath, folks.
Okay, support for 4K gaming on the web. They promised 4K gaming out the gate.
There's no 4K at all.
No, there
the
is no
people
4K.
that paid specifically for the Pro.
Yep, and
No
they
4K.
paid. The founders who paid for it have not gotten 4K yet, and that happened 2-3 months ago. When their founders free 4K, they get that for 3 months, right? So it's the second their free 4K is done, 4K will be available finally. Okay. Also add assistant functionality when playing on the web, which is part of their controller, which is the fourth bullet point: wireless gameplay on the web through the Stadia controller. As of yet, the controller that you bought as a founder has not worked. It doesn't work. It has, which is crazy. And then the third one is support additional Android phones. So, like, finally, what they promised.
Support additional Pixel phones.
Why did they even release this?
That's what I'm wondering.
What was
there was no demand for this. It wasn't like people were like, if we don't get
They
this
weren't
out
chomping
now,
at the bit.
Yeah, it's not like PlayStation's rolling out their own version of Stadia that you had to get early in on. Like, this isn't a Dreamcast PS2
There was no
situation.
competition.
There's no competition.
They just did it.
If this was a feasible, actionable thing that anyone could do, Microsoft or PlayStation would have done, or Nintendo especially, would have already done this. The idea
No, they are.
They're just doing it slower.
They're
and
doing
more-
it right.
And
They're
responsibly.
beta testing.
No, maybe Joe Biden was right. Maybe these guys are arrogant little creeps. Arrogant little creeps. Like that is going to be my new thing. I wonder if I could get. I'm so sad that was like a paper
closed
interview.
Yeah.
Because I want the clip of Joe Biden.
We need
saying,
that audio clip.
Yeah, arrogant
Bad.
little creep. So every time I fucking talk about Google, I can have Joe Biden.
I'm sure someone can deep fake it somewhere.
Yeah, I'll deep fake Joe Biden calling Google executives.
You
little creep.
mentioned it. It's already done.
Yep.
They
So
just
Business
finished
Insider
right
writes
now.
this article, and it's pretty extensive. For Business Insider seems like just like a rag. Just like a clickbaity rag generally.
But I love that they bullet point each of the articles at the beginning.
No,
That's nice.
they did a really good job with this one. Is that they did? They reached out, and so after they reach out to Google for a statement, Google's PR guy is like, "Oh shit, I have to do my fucking job." So not only like immediately after they reach out, do they publish a post that's like, "Oh, sorry, you haven't heard from us," but they also responded to the Business Insider thing and was like, Actually, we have done a lot of stuff for Stadia. Here's a list. So we added more games to the library. So I think they added 2 games. We updated the existing Chromecast Ultra so that they're able to run Stadia. I'm sorry. Your update that you're bragging about, your
Makes it
second
functional?
bullet point is that it works as promised.
Clarification. It works now.
The phones turn on now, so it's pretty cool. Purchased a game studio. Guys, that doesn't make us think you're... I think gamers in 2020 see a giant fucking global conglomerate buy a game studio, and none of us are like, woo, yay, I can't wait for
Well, there
more.
goes that game studio.
Exactly. So thanks for bragging about that. Tell us what studio so we can make sure to never buy their games. They've added Stream Connect to Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Wasn't that the game that Christian said was awful?
Yes.
It was
one
the
he
bad
didn't
Ghost
like.
Recon game.
Congrats, Google.
You got
Congrats.
it. You got it.
You nailed it.
Ubisoft's like, oh, shoot, somebody wants to buy this? Okay.
we didn't know anyone. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be dead and in the ground by the time they actually roll out the free service. It'll struggle. It'll limp along for another year or so, and then it will join the rank of every other Google product in their Google product graveyard. And that'll be it. and I can finally say I'm right, which is something I was going to say anyway. All right, what else? Oh, we've got the first pictures of the back of the Xbox Series X. I know this seems silly, but we didn't. First of all, I was unaware. I thought we've seen leaks and prototypes, but we haven't actually seen the PlayStation 5 at all, like anything.
No.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I thought I saw something. So no. So this is, but we have seen the front of this and the sides, but we have not seen the ports.
Back
They
with all
never
the
showed us
ports.
the back because the ports actually do reveal a lot about it. And so someone posted this on what the hell was that
Twitter?
website? No, it was it's that, I don't know. It's that website where all the leaks happen.
Walmart Canada.
Walmart Canada. Anyway, it's a forum. It's like an old ass forum
I
where they
don't know
always
what it
posting
is.
these NeoGAF.
Oh shoot! People are still using that.
Dude, that's where this shit always comes from. It's always sourced from like the 20
I
super
thought NeoGAF
connected
was
dudes
closed down.
at NeoGAF.
I legit thought it was closed down.
I didn't know
No, dude.
Actual forums still existed.
Yeah, no, that's why they have it, is because everyone pays no attention to it, and then it leaks out, and they can't trace it back because no one knows what the fuck it's still
they're
exists.
like, wait,
However,
NeoGAF?
it's absolutely insane. They posted this, and it's on a carpet. You can see the carpet is like clearly a corporate, like an office carpet. Like you'd never have this in your home. And
Yeah, it's like the most uncomfortable carpet
I think they
imaginable.
just took the picture really, really quickly while someone wasn't in the room. But here's the problem they didn't think through. It has the serial number on it. They're going to know exactly which Xbox that is. They're going to be able to... Someone's going to lose their job over this, for sure. So, like, I don't know if that's someone visiting the office and, like, someone went to take a pee, and then... But they'll be able to trace the exact Xbox this is and where it is.
Oh yeah, they know exactly which one this is.
So that's
and
a little
because it even
crazy.
says like prototype on the back of it.
Yeah, they'll know which
And-
one.
What is this big flat port?
Okay, so they don't know what that is. There's one port that is unidentified, but they think it might have to do with a USB or something. There's no Connect port, which actually was removed in the most
last
recent
version.
Well, they had it in the Xbox One, and then the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, or the Xbox One S, One X. Those removed the Connect port already.
I liked the Kinect.
There's also, you're the only one. There's also no HDMI input. Do you guys remember when the Xbox One was supposed to be
It
your?
was supposed to be a media center.
Yeah.
It was not a gaming console.
It happened so quickly that they just threw it out. They just ditched it. So they're now. This is like dead in the water.
Did you ever use it? Did you ever
don't
plug
have
anything
one.
into the? Oh, you don't.
I don't
have
know.
one.
I don't have one, but I thought that was an ambitious move, and it didn't make sense to me because that requires the participation of every major cable and internet and satellite provider in America
Well,
to actually function properly. Like
kind
you have
of.
to have Comcast.
They're just skinning over the top of it because it just functions like it would be if it plugged into your TV, right?
right.
But it's just functioning as like a secondary remote. So I remember we plugged our satellite into it for a while, and it was just it worked, but it was more more kind of clanky than just using it like it was supposed
right.
to be used.
And I want to use a TV remote, not a
Yeah.
Xbox controller.
Right.
Like what the hell?
Right. I mean, I use my Xbox for like Netflix and Hulu, right? Mm-hmm. But those are apps on the Xbox,
Right.
right? That will still work.
Built for it. Yeah, that'll still work.
It's just the
HDMI in.
external coming in.
Right. Which is so no one's gonna miss it.
Yeah, because no one because the only people using that still are your mom and your grandma, and they're not going to buy the Xbox.
no, they don't even know what it's called.
Right? Who's you still using? Who's still paying for cable?
Nobody.
Just Netflix, guys.
Trent is.
Trent, what are you doing?
Someone's got to
You
think
know-
of the little guys, the little
Trent.
Comcasts of the world.
You know,
Stop it.
If I cancel it, my bill doesn't get that much cheaper.
You have cable and
Well, no,
a YouTube
because
TV. Like, what is the point?
I don't pay for YouTube TV.
Oh,
Well, no, because it's like my cable and internet bundle is only like slightly more expensive than if I just had internet. So I'm like,
You probably have a phone line too, don't you?
no.
Trent,
he's got two.
Trent, did
No
they rope
phone
you
line.
into
How
I
that?
many-
didn't get the triple play.
What's your fax number?
I do have a fax machine.
So anyway, it's not a huge. I don't think there's a ton of huge news other than like we've seen now the entirety of the box, and we can kind of glean what most of it means, except for that one mysterious
Give that
port.
big, huge, long port.
Yeah, no one knows what that is, but maybe it'll be Connect 3. Another
Trent
cool-
wants to connect.
It's
back.
going to be Xbox VR port.
That'd be cool.
Nope,
Actually,
they already said no VR.
really.
They lied.
Yep. They
Really?
did say that. It's not supporting VR.
The
I think
Switch
that's-
is supporting VR.
What?
the Switch is making like a little.
He has a cardboard.
Oh, they have
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The Switch
Oh, yeah, they already do
VR.
have it, yeah.
It's terrible.
But it still exists.
Yeah.
No, I think this is. I bet they're so burned after the Kinect. They're like, we're not doing fancy shit.
Well-
we make video games. That's
But here's
it.
the thing. Here's the thing. Microsoft is so tied into PC, right? Their mentality is, okay, if you want to play VR, you just play it on your PC. It's going
why
to be
would you
better
compete?
anyway.
Yeah, why would you compete? No, I totally agree with this.
Although,
move.
but PlayStation is leaning into it, so which is interesting.
Well, PlayStation is the option for console VR.
Yep.
Like,
The
and
only real option.
it's the only real option, and they own that. And if Microsoft tried to compete, they don't have. They're a full console behind. I wouldn't do that.
No.
I wouldn't try to compete. It's like when they came in with the Kinect, a full console behind the Wii, trying to compete in that same activity space, and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing because
Here's
they were
what
so
I
far
like,
behind.
though. I'm going to love it if PlayStation kind of finds their home with VR, Xbox finds their home with like hardcore gaming,
Hardcore
and
gaming.
Nintendo does their own thing. I'd like
That's
if
the
all three
dream.
of them were different instead of trying to
had
be the
different
same.
value.
Yep,
Yeah.
I want a distinguished thing, and that's why the other thing about PlayStation is that they've got the exclusives.
Yeah.
So like you definitely are having a very distinct experience. Whereas with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, for sure, it was
the
like the
same.
same damn thing.
just
I
had to
didn't
pick
care.
one.
And now these two, I think the PS4 and the Xbox One, that's when the divergence started to happen. When they're like, why fight over a limited market share when we can just go make our own?
Yeah, Microsoft their business model is diverting pretty heavily, and they are leaning into the crossplay.
They're leaning into what works.
They want gamers to be able to game. That's what they want, and they want you to pay a subscription fee for it
Because
they just want your monthly dollars.
Because the last thing they did last console was we're going to capture everybody.
Yep.
Everyone from your grandma to your 3-year-old is going to use your Xbox.
And now it is
for
my least
everything.
used console.
Exactly. So they tried to make it do everything, and it didn't do anything. And for this time, they're like, okay, whatever you gamers want, you'll get. You want
get it.
crossplay, you want voice chat, you want whatever. You want a super powerful, disgustingly powerful box that can run 8K. You get it. That's what you want. You'll get it.
They've stopped also openly and actively competing with PlayStation. Like their messaging is like, "Oh, PlayStation, we love those guys. They
Yeah.
do great
Oh,
stuff."
It's so cool.
They're
I
just
like that.
They just because I think that's not valuable anymore.
I want my corporate overlords to be friends.
Everyone wants. Yo, I don't know if I like that.
Ally against the consumers. It's perfect. Another good thing that just came out in the news is that all Half-Life games are now free on Steam until Half-Life Alyx comes out.
If you haven't played Half-Life yet,
Start on 2.
this is the time. Yes, play Half-Life 2 episode.
If you haven't
play
played any
through
of
all
them, I guess play 1 until you're like, ugh.
I never played 1. I
never
just
played
started
1
on
either.
2 and just went through all of them.
Yep.
And amazing games. They're still
think
some
the
of my favorite
atmosphere-
first-person shooter games.
Yeah, the atmosphere is just second to none. I mean, I think the stuff with the man in black guy, like
Yeah.
I
The
just-
audio is the music's good. And here's the thing:
sound design.
the
is
story and levels are genuinely fun to play through, and I think that's what makes this different for a lot of first-person shooters. For me, it's just you're playing through it and it's a joy the whole time, right? Sometimes when they try to make first-person shooters open world, sometimes it doesn't work because you're just like, sometimes I want to be on rails. Sometimes
Well, this
I
is
want
pretty
to
on
have
rails.
a path.
This
Yeah,
is pretty rail.
You have there's like one way to go.
Yeah.
and sometimes that's okay, right? So if you haven't played it yet, play it.
And there's these set pieces that are absolutely famous in the gaming world, and once you've played them, you'll come out and be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Especially like Ravenholm. Like I say Ravenholm, and everyone that's played it is like, ugh, and they get it.
I can hear the music. I can like the whole thing.
Yeah, like your whole attitude changes just that one word, and until you've played it, you can't possibly hope to understand. So yeah, check it out. It's free on Steam. You might as well plug a couple hours into it, and then get all pumped up for Half-Life Alyx. Let's do a few quick ones, and then we'll end on the Halo one. Marvel's Iron Man VR. This was on my anticipated games list. I think it was supposed to come out next month. It's now been delayed until May 15th.
So yeah, at least that one wasn't delayed until like fall. They just pushed it back a month.
At this point, I kind of want to hear long delays because after Cyberpunk, they're like, we're delaying it 5 months, and that's going to be tons more work. Part of me is like, delay it a year and just take it easy, guys. do some polishing in the last couple months instead
That's
of
what they
cramming
did
it all.
already.
But yeah, this one I'm like, maybe delay it a little longer, but it's fine.
I think for this one, since it's such like a month delay, it probably has to do with just some extra.
It probably just have
cleanup,
some bugs.
polish, some buggy stuff.
VR
just
is
something
just-
small that is like a fix they can do, like in a patch, but they don't want to release it with that bug. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, I forgot to mention about Skyrim VR. So Skyrim and all the games that are made by Bethesda are notorious for bugs that get you stuck.
Yeah.
Where you
You
get stuck in the ground.
landscape,
Well,
yeah.
guess what, dude? If you're in VR, you just switch it to the teleport mode, and
Just
you
push
just
yourself right
teleport
out.
out of instead of having to reload a save. I just switch to teleport. It's so nice. I never get clipped.
Every
through a
single
level.
player game needs that feature, just for the sole
just
purpose
for Bethesda
of like
games. Yeah.
Like if you haven't moved for like 15 seconds, the game will just say,
Give you a teleport
Hey,
mode."
do you need to teleport? Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's just. I feel like it would be very difficult. That would be a very hard pill to swallow as the game developer, like acknowledging your game's so broken it needs an out. But it would.
But
be
how
nice.
many? I've so many games, so many games. I've gotten stuck in a spot. Even good games.
Yep.
You're stuck, and you're like,
I have to reload this fucking save. Are you
none of the
serious?
testers jump in this weird little spot that I just jumped
Yeah,
into?
no, well, that's the problem with Skyrim. Is like, God, there's so many spots. There's a million spots. And
Well,
how could you find them all?
I always say this with, I think it was Morrowind. I had a dagger that when I swung it, I made it and enchanted it myself. When I swung it, it would make me
would clip you through
float.
stuff?
No, I would levitate for 30 seconds. And I made it like as powerful as I could, and that's how I would fly around the map.
my
I just
God.
carry this dagger around, and
you
I'd
just
just
swing it until
fly
you
up over
fly?
a mountain, and then I'd fly. I'd start falling, and I'd swing it, and then I just keep going.
That's so funny.
That's the best
up over mountains and
game-breaking thing
stuff.
I've ever heard. I want to fly in Skyrim now. Damn it. Also, this is kind of cool news, and since we apparently are on a Stardew Valley kick, Stardew Valley...
None of us are playing it, but we're on a kick.
We're always thinking about it. Just announced in one of their blogs, like their dev blogs, that they have sold, since release, over 10 million copies worldwide.
go.
This is one dude that has, a temp staff or a contract staff of folks that help out here and there. But he has made something that made people so happy. 10 million people so happy. I'm just so stoked. That's what I want to see.
Way to go.
That's
I know, I
just
love
what-
that. I love it.
I love when indie devs are just getting, because guess what? Now he is a indie dev sitting on tens of millions of dollars, and he can now do something meaningful with that instead of,
Because
giving it to a CFO.
AAA titles, they'll come out and say, if we don't sell 8 million copies, we're not going to make any money. Right. And that's like their expectation. In indie dev is like, man, if I could sell if 5,000
Like a
people
few
bought my
thousand,
game,
yeah.
A couple
oh
thousand.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That would change my life.
Right, because this game sells for anywhere from like $15 to $30, right?
Yeah, I think I bought it for maybe 20 something.
So we're looking at 150
Yeah.
million.
It's great.
Yeah. Wait, is that right?
I don't know. I don't know math. How do you
Yeah,
math?
150 to $300 million for this game. That doesn't make sense. That's not right. That can't be right.
So 10 million times $15. Do that. That's the math we're doing. I know there's a listener out there who's like, you guys are
It's
idiots.
$150 million.
Yeah, I'm like, it can't really be like a third of $1 billion from Stardew Valley. Is that real? It's
Yeah.
$15 on the Switch.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like $150 million.
Even if you average
I mean,
that,
that's not how much he gets.
No, but that game I'm talking about, think about movies.
Yeah.
Movies don't make anywhere near that much, and one guy made this. Imagine an indie film that was acted and starred in by one dude making more than
Challenge
some
accepted.
Avengers movies. Some MCU movies don't make that much.
3-bit movie.
3-bit, the movie. We make it every week.
And
post
we're
it
going to
on-
spend all our money on the evilest shit, you guys. All right, so our final story, this is pretty interesting. This comes from just like this was a clip out of another interview, but the Halo co-creator, this is Marcus Leto. He left Bungie, the original studio behind Halo, now does Destiny, and Halo is turned over to 343 Industries, so don't get those mixed up. But he left Bungie due in part to the life-altering crunch.
I think that's and we always talk about crunch. We've talked about it a lot. and how it's not a good practice. But I think that life altering is the real key here, because everything says employees are better, happier, they'll stay longer if they have a good work-life balance. And with Crunch, they don't have that. And when it is described as life-altering,
Yeah, he talks about the toll
no
on
one wants that.
Yeah, in this quote he says, they talk about like the toll of like on your body. Like forget all the other stuff, like emotionally, like it wrecks your fucking body.
Well, if you're not sleeping,
Yeah,
like
Not sleeping, you're
alone.
eating at
Stress
work,
destroys, it destroys your body. So he has formed a new studio called V1 Interactive.
Ooh, yeah.
And they're building a game. They're making a game called Disintegration. I don't know anything about it.
cool
but
name.
It's a dope name.
Yeah,
He
that is a
says,
good name.
Surprised it hasn't been used
"We don't
yet.
want this is Leto. This is a quote from him. We don't want to experience that. That being Crunch. We don't want to experience that. We don't want to replicate that at all at V1. So at V1, one of our primary goals with the studio is making sure that we create an atmosphere where everybody is intimately involved with what we're working on. And so there is a lot of responsibility on everyone's shoulders, and everyone wears several hats. We also value, incredibly, the health of everybody here, both physically and mentally, making sure that they have time outside the office to be with their family. And so, I mean, it sounds like they have the studio is, they're barely just starting this game, and it's a sci-fi first-person shooter, and they're already talking about like work-life balance. Like that's their their focus one of their focuses as a company. So,
Hope it sticks.
well, it's going to suck when the industry unionizes and these guys have to pay additional costs for unionized workers, even though they're treating them
Yeah.
properly. But that's thank God. And like bravo and kudos to these guys for seeing how god awful it is. And this is a guy that was, he was a co-creator of Halo. Like he could really do whatever he wanted, and he could absolutely just go get a huge executive job at EA and just keep, benefiting from all that crunch. But he's decided to change it with his reputation and his name and his experience, and I think that's awesome. So hopefully we see more of that. But I think ultimately it's all about these indie studios. They're the only thing that matters because they're the only things that can save this dying industry. Okay.
That's not dying. It's just
This-
it is a bleak hellscape of an industry. It's ultra competitive.
It kills, and I that's super funny that's what I said was dying industry, because I'm just thinking about the people that work in it, and I just think about watching them just drop like flies. Like the majority of people that are working in the game industry are like 30 years or younger, because it's not that they quit. They reach their 30s and realize, I want to have a life, a house, a significant other, or some sort of life outside of work.
Yep.
And guess what? I can make 2x what I'm making now at a software company where I only have to work 40 hours a week instead of 90.
On a bad week, you're working 50 hours.
So what just sucks about that is now you have a brain drain in the industry.
Yep.
Where
And that's going to be the killer.
Yeah,
right
so
there.
so when I say killing the industry, I guess I should say killing industry workers.
Yep.
Because I mean that impacts games.
You're
It really
diluting
does.
your talent.
You're going to lose a lot of talent.
Yeah.
We have so I work on a software
and they're going to
product,
go work at Adobe. They're
Yeah.
going to go work at, you know what I mean?
and it's so chill.
Yep.
Yeah, and I work on a software, and we have a really small staff, admittedly, but we have like 60 people on like the dev side, and there are a few people that if they left, it would affect our bottom line. Just like it would totally screw us over. Now imagine working on a bigger software with a bunch more people, and people are just dropping like flies all the freaking time. That's what they're having to deal with. Like it just sucks. And I bet it hurts game release. I bet it hurts the development time. Like you just lose that knowledge when you're forcing people out just because you want to churn through them. I don't know. Anyway, so bravo to those guys, and I hope that game, we're following them on Twitter, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some listener questions, and we got a lot of good ones. You guys are so great at this. You've asked us a lot of good questions. So let's start right at the top. Do you want to start with this one, Peterson?
Yeah, let's start at the top. This came from Cody Labucane. Now, I don't know how to say his last name. That's how I read it in my head.
Guys, if
That's
you,
how I read it.
It always helps if
Labucan?
if you send us a question.
Labucan?
Send us the
I doubt it's that.
the pronunciation of your name.
He's going to be like, yeah, it is that.
Cody
Labucan.
L.A.
Because we always appreciate that, so we don't mangle your name.
Oh no, I'll mangle your name on purpose.
Nick Peterson will do it
If you
regardless.
get really specific about it, I'm gonna mess it up.
Okay.
So Cody says, if you could pick a car from any video game to own, what would you pick? I'm in the process of getting a Nissan GTR, my dream car, and I can't be any happier.
You're good pick,
I
Cody,
was going
though.
to say dope car.
Way to go.
GTR, nice.
Wait, okay, so real quick, I'll start this off by saying I am not a car guy. I don't even know what a Nissan GTR is, so I'm going to look that up right now.
Very pretty.
But
Did you ever see the second Fast and the Furious movie?
Goes so fast.
yeah, no,
The Skyline is what turned into the GTR.
no, I don't.
Didn't he have a Sky? Wasn't his car
I'll
in
look
the
at the
first
Sky-
one?
in the first
the
one,
green
it was
one.
a Supra, and then
Oh,
it
it
was
was
the
a
Eclipse.
Supra.
The Eclipse was the green one, and then the white silvery one was the
Okay,
Skyline.
No, here's and I've said this before, but I have been in. So I have driven and been in every member of my family's cars.
And you don't know what they drive.
I couldn't tell you what kind of car or even what color it is. And I'm not making that up. I don't know what car you drive, Trent. I've
It
seen
changes.
it. Yeah, that's true. It
does
changes all
change
the time.
quite a bit.
But I know what JD drives just because when I was buying a car, we had talked about it. But when you told me it was a Civic, I was floored. I was like, wait, that's a Civic? I'm terrible at cars, you guys. And that's not an
so
exaggeration.
what's your terrible dummy
Get
pick?
ready for this
Yeah.
now.
So no, but when I play, there are a couple cars that whenever I see, I love. So when I played Forza Horizon 4, it has like everything,
Right.
It's got everything. I really love the Dodge Charger,
Okay.
and so that was my go-to car in the game.
You just got out of boot camp, is what you're telling me?
Yeah. When I was driving around, that's what I like designed it, and I was like, oh, cool, because I'm not impractical
Fast and the
enough.
Furious?
Yeah, I'm not impractical enough to be like, I'm gonna drive the Ferrari around. You know what I mean? Like in the game, for me, it's like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I don't even like that.
His in-game car has to match his
It's
real
so
life
practical.
personality.
He's like,
Yes.
I can't fit
Gotta
a car
drive a Dodge Neon.
I can't put a car seat in that. That's ridiculous.
Yes, yeah.
You think I can afford the maintenance
Wait.
on this car?
This only has 2 doors. I am
Not
out.
practical.
The doors
Sorry.
open like this.
I have 4
What?
kids. How am I supposed to get them in there? And I think that stems from
There's no trunk. Where am I going to put my kids?
one time when I was a kid, my best friend's grandpa, he loves cars, and he came over with a Porsche one time. And he was like, you guys want to ride in it? And we were in the back seat, and there's zero legroom. I was like 10, and I couldn't fit in the car.
Why do they even make a backseat?
And 10-year-old Peterson was like, this is not practical. He
It's
can't
like,
fit car
I
seats
am
back here.
Never getting one.
Where are
of
you going to
these.
put your groceries?
This is really fast. So yeah, I just drove that around in Forza Horizon, and that's probably what it would be. And it's not even a dream car because I don't dream about cars.
Right.
So
That is
sad answer.
Trent, what's yours?
Cody's like, I don't like this.
He's like, I don't even
Maybe
like
the
Peterson anymore.
Batmobile?
Ooh.
Oh, tight.
I figured I wasn't constrained by like actual cars.
Oh, good. Because
So-
Did you go
Like-
like the Warthog or something?
Like a
Oh,
car
that would
that's
be tight.
armored with guns that can fly and go underwater. And
A car without constraints.
Yes.
At all. It can literally
It's
be
basically
anything
just
you want it to be.
anything.
it does whatever the plot needs it to.
yes,
exactly.
that's the car that I would pick.
I would.
What if the plot of your life had to require, you're like, oh man, there's a bunch of traffic here, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're like, what can this car do now? It's like the room of requirement in Harry Potter.
I would go looking
The
for
car of
trouble.
requirement.
Just like drive my car off cliffs and stuff.
I'm in.
It is the car of
Someone's
requirement.
gonna
That is
make
the
it.
Batmobile, the car of requirement.
Yep.
I can't believe this wasn't picked, but the ice cream truck from Twisted Metal.
That was the first thing that popped in my head.
And the newest one,
Which also has guns.
the newest one where he can turn into basically a transformer and run around.
I haven't played Twisted Metal since like PS1.
But that's the car I want. I want the
know
the
that
Twisted
gosh.
Metal truck, and I'm
That's
driving
so
an
funny.
ice cream truck, and then it turns into a giant clown robot, and I just destroy people.
You'll get arrested immediately.
Oh, who's going to
because
arrest me? You should see this thing. Like,
SWAT team is the only people who are
no,
brave
you would
enough.
you would actually need like a fight helicopter or like a fucking fighter jet. There's
Like the
no way, or a
Batmobile.
tank. Yeah, you need the Batmobile. Like I'm thinking of this thing.
The Marines are going to arrest you.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of it in the Transformer mode when it turns.
So we're
going to
show up to our dream car rally. I'll pull up in the Batmobile. You'll be in the Twisted Metal truck, and Peterson
I've got,
rolls
like,
up
a
in his Dodge
minivan.
Charger.
fucking Charger. He's like, guys, I thought we were choosing practical vehicles. What
P.S.
the heck?
The Nissan GTR is sick looking.
It's super
It's
sick.
so tight. All right, our next one comes from Trey Mishmash, and he asks, are any of you planning on buying a new console, Xbox or PS5, within the first quarter of its drop? That's a great question.
It says either of you, but I'm going to answer still. Probably.
Yeah,
I
you
want
on?
Xbox.
Okay.
Here's why.
Very weird.
They're very similar as far as specs so far, but
That was the loudest soda can opening I've ever
it
heard.
sounded really satisfying.
Okay.
I know. I'm thirsty now. Why is my mouth all dry?
PlayStation's kind of
Brought to you
like
by
we
Pepsi.
talked about, heading more in like that, having VR capabilities, which means
Right.
it's not going to be entirely dedicated to just straightforward gaming.
Okay.
The Xbox has already said that it's going to have NVMe storage, which is like faster solid state, right?
Yeah.
They'll both have solid state. And I don't know. It appeals more to me. I don't know. They've released more information about it. I've always liked the Xbox route. Everything else, I'm going to have both eventually anyways,
Yeah.
because all of my JRPGs are going to end up on the PlayStation.
Where I was going to say, you're
But-
not going to be able to avoid the exclusivity.
But I'd probably get the Xbox first.
You think you'll get it within the first quarter that's released?
Trent
So-
always does
I've
this.
never not.
Yeah, Trent
So-
always gets his shit early.
Yeah.
And
Early adopter.
one time he got
My
an
Xbox One was free.
and they gave him 2 Xboxes. Oh my gosh. What the fuck?
Trent Luck. Trent
Trent
Luck,
Luck
is
is
wild.
disgusting.
When
the
it happens-
combined cost of my well, it wasn't free. I guess the combined cost of my Xbox One and PlayStation, was it the 4?
I hate you.
We have
PlayStation
PS4s,
4,
right?
yeah.
That's the current. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's like $150
combined
bucks.
cost of both of those consoles at launch was $200.
I hate him.
It was a good
it was a good
generation
time.
for
So
Trent.
lucky.
Oh my god. I will probably not, because I am very happy with where I'm at on my consoles. If I do, it will be the PS5, because I am gonna have to pour a couple $100 into my PC, because I'm upgrading my PC and giving Jenna my old a lot of my old shit. So I'm gonna need to upgrade it that so we can run better VR on it. And if I'm doing that, it feels redundant almost.
That's also, I think, my missed argument for the Xbox is the crossplay. So if I'm putting so much time and effort into doing PC games, being able to kind of have more of that back and forth between the two.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so, and that's the thing, is I haven't found an Xbox game that I couldn't play satisfactorily on my PC.
On the
so
PC.
I'm like,
Which is what they want. That's exactly what they want.
and you've got that setup though, where you've got your PC in your office with the couch, with the
couch.
controller and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
So it's a different experience for you too.
yeah, so I can play a PC game, or I can play a PC game like a console game on my couch with a controller and everything. So I'm like, yeah, I'm pouring my money into my PC first, and then the PS5, and then the Xbox if I'm like Trent and it just falls into my lap.
Yes.
But it's really not
You
a
just
priority for
accidentally
me.
get one?
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you, JD. I can tell you I definitely will not. I just got a PlayStation 4 for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
And so
do you have the Pro or the regular?
no, just I think it's regular.
It's still great. I'm
Yeah.
using a launch model.
Yep.
And I play
That's
Outer
still
Worlds,
good.
and it looks amazing.
So I am not like a picky about graphics. I don't own a 4K TV or anything like that. So
do. It doesn't matter.
I'm in the same boat as JD. I will upgrade my PC probably next, and then I imagine the next console I will buy will be the Xbox Series X, because our current Xbox One is 4 years old. And it works fine. I mean, you can tell it's slowing down just a tiny bit, right? Just that natural. My kids are on it for hours a day. It's hot, that sort of thing. So, I imagine I'll get an Xbox Series X within probably in the first year.
Okay.
Probably the Christmas after it's released. So probably a year later.
That would
probably
be
a smart decision.
And yeah, if you guys are thinking about it, I think that because it's coming out this holiday and next holiday, they're going to be stupid sales, bundles, packages, all sorts of free shit.
And they already said there's going to be no exclusives. Everything you can get on that, you will also be playable on the Xbox One.
The backwards compatibility too, though, like being able to play original Xbox games on it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I feel like there's not a ton of incentive right now. So hopefully soon. But
I'm
not
okay
right
waiting. I'm not an early adopter. I'm okay waiting.
No, I've never. The PS4 was the earliest I've gotten a console since the
And
Dreamcast,
that was just
and
an
that was
accident.
dumb luck. And I would have, because I was a student at the time, and if Trent and I hadn't gotten them for $80, like we wouldn't have gotten
Yeah, screw you guys.
them. Okay,
come.
you could have come.
Yeah, if that happens again, I was
We
in
were really
Washington.
close back then.
I was
but-
in Washington. I tried. I went to Walmart. You messaged.
Oh, yeah, I remember
went to
this
Walmart.
now.
They were like, "What are you talking about? Get out of here."
We had to go to 2.
Dude, it's super funny. They've had all sorts of adjustments because I don't know if you guys know this, but if you right click on like a website in Chrome and inspect it, you can change the copy on the website, so you could make it say whatever you want, and then print screen, and you can print it off. So you could go to the New York Times and change one of the headlines to say the F word and print that off, and it would look totally legitimate. Or you could even show the website on your phone to somebody, and it would look legitimate.
Luckily, most people aren't this.
No,
smart.
it doesn't matter. So now the people at Walmart, if you ask for a price match, they pull it up on their own devices now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they've figured it out. Okay, so
You should go to Stephen Lee's and then come back, since we already started this conversation.
okay,
The 4K.
Yeah.
okay. Stephen Lee asked, "Would you invest in a TV or a monitor to play in 4K?"
So he has 3 questions, Steven. You don't typically get 3, but whatever.
I'll just bang through them. Yes, I invested in a TV in 4K and was stoked just because it was a nice TV.
Well, like, which one would you do?
But you
though?
just said
TV or a monitor. That's what he's asking.
Oh, is he? I thought he was just saying, like, generally, would you invest in this?
It's which one would you rather do?
Monitor.
And I know
Monitor.
that because I know the context
Okay,
behind it.
then monitor.
Yeah,
because
because I have a
100%.
60-inch
Yeah.
TV, 4K TV, and it's like super nice. I'm still paying it off.
But you don't. There's not enough 4K content to utilize it. I don't.
That's a
feel
big
like.
thing, and for whatever reason, I think I'm too far away because when I have a big 4K monitor. Jenna actually got it to do photo editing, to do like super realistic, or not realistic, but product photography.
and now it plays FTL.
And now it plays FTL. Now it plays a game from 2012.
Stretching those 4K limits.
Yeah, but I stole it from her, and it is 100%. But it looks better in my TV. My TV is probably a higher quality screen, but because I sit right by
You're
it,
sitting the right distance.
I sit like 2 feet from it.
Yep.
I can appreciate it. So I would say monitor. I'd get a monitor.
Yeah, monitor for me too. Mostly because I have a pretty big monitor, and when I borrowed JD's PlayStation, I just plugged it into my monitor on my.
It looked awesome, right?
And because monitors now are all HDMI, and so you can plug any of your consoles into your monitor. It was plugged in at the same time as my PC too, so it wasn't even a hassle. And it was just the same as if I'm on my PC. I've watched shows on it, and the other piece, like you said. The 4K, I use my TV almost exclusively for streaming, and the 4K content.
There's not much.
It's just not there.
It's starting, like in a few years.
But that's what you get out of streaming, right? You lose some of that
Lose a lot
like
of it.
quality, and we're okay with that because of the ease of access is more important than having 4K content all the time.
Right.
And so, yeah, monitor is the way to go. Plus, there's like ray tracing if you have a nice graphics card.
Well, so that would be the caveat, right? Is like I would say monitor if you have the components to support it.
right.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because, I can't get 4K. I have a 960.
Yeah.
I can't get 4K out of it.
Soon.
I'm not getting it yet, but you can upgrade, and then you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah. Steven also asks, would you get a sound bar or surround sound, or is it a waste of money to have good sound experience playing games?
So is this connected to the first question, or is this generalized?
think
Like,
this
would you
is-
get a sound bar for your TV? Because then my answer is yes.
Soundbar
100%.
or surround sound.
Yeah, if you don't have a
you
sound
get one?
bar, I wouldn't get surround sound with a sound bar, if that makes
No,
sense.
it's either or for sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
if we're talking just like general entertainment with a TV or something,
For a TV,
I would never just use the internal speakers on a TV ever.
No. And
That's what I use.
Well, because mine's mounted on my wall and the speakers are on the back of it.
Oh,
So it
so the
gives
sound
this
goes
weird
out.
muddied sound. So
Oh,
getting
yeah,
a
yeah,
sound
yeah.
bar was
Yep.
like game changer.
But I feel like for games, there are 100 things I would buy before a good sound.
if I'm playing games, I'd put on a pair of headphones.
Yes!
That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
Never in a million years would I invest in a sound system for my game system.
No.
Because most of the time I'm playing at night. I don't want to wake the whole family up. There's kids. My wife's sleeping. You know what I mean? I don't want
Well, and
it to
sound
be loud
staging
and-
on headphones is so good now.
That's the thing.
It's so much
that
better.
the
And it'll be
cost to
cheaper.
get
You'd have
it,
to pay.
yeah.
You'd have to pay $800 to get a system that can replicate $150.
buy a $150 pair of
Yeah.
headphones, and they
yeah.
will be incredible.
So I have Trent had told you guys that I have a setup where my PC is plugged into a TV and a monitor. So I have a normal PC desk and then a futon and a TV. And I do have speakers for that. But dude, I just have like cheapy like $80 speakers. So it's a sub and 2 side speakers.
Yep.
And they're more than adequate because I know that if the sound is really valuable to me and I really I'll just put on headphones.
Yes, if
Absolutely.
sound is imperative to the game, because some games it is, some
Headphones.
games it isn't. I will always put on my
You
headphones.
will never, dude. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on a sound system. It will not be better than headphones. I'm sorry. A surround sound can do everything, but it's in your. The headphones
right
are on
there
your
on
head.
your- on
Like
your
it
head.
doesn't get better than that.
And so this is actually a thing that I've recently discovered about myself. I have this thing called the hidden hearing loss, which means that when there are background noises, I have a hard
deaf.
time understanding what people are saying, like understanding words. Which is it's weird. Like I hear fine.
Is it because you're trying to focus on multiple things?
Yeah, it's just an issue of like they said it's caused from too many loud sounds in your younger years. So music too loud in the car. But
Yep.
so I have this issue, and so if I want to pay attention to a game, I can't use my speakers because
No.
if there's any other noise, I will not be able to understand what they're saying to me.
When I was playing Call of Duty Mobile, this is the weirdest thing I found. I played it sometimes with the sound on my phone, most times on silent. The sound on the phone's like, oh, they're shooting and stuff, so I just turn it off, whatever. But I was playing. I had my headphones in. I was listening to a podcast, and I had like some free time, so I pulled it out and didn't take my headphones out and played it. My KD, my kill death ratio, doubled. I'm not shitting you because I could hear. I just had standard Apple headphones in my head, and I could hear when people were running from the right, or they were coming from the left, or if they were coming straight. And to get a speaker system to replicate that, you'd have to have the stand-ups behind your couch. You'd have to have a mounted up behind your
up on
couch
the
too.
wall.
You'd have to have two behind you so they could give you that like array of sound. So no, never spend money on that for gaming. For your TV, sure, but like no, I would.
I don't know that I would
never.
say never. I mean, you can make
Because
the
you
case
could
like your
upgrade-
room's shaking because the bass is going so
Right,
heavy.
but
Like,
I would
that's
rather
cool.
I would rather I'd have a better graphics card. I'd have a better
I agree
box.
with
I'd
that,
have water
100%.
cooling. There are so many
If
things
you have
I'd rather spend
unlimited
$900.
funds,
Yeah.
If you have unlimited funds,
Do it.
sure,
Go nuts.
Go ahead and make yourself this elite gaming room that is going to knock
But
your socks
your
off.
gaming PC should be $5,000 before you start buying surround sound. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Put $5,000 into your fucking PC before you start doing sound. And his last question, speaking of
Just
sound,
end it after the first sentence. Have you ever sneezed or farted?
have you ever sneezed or farted? Yes, sometimes at
No.
the same time.
Wait, you guys have farted? Gross.
Not since being married.
And it reminded you of a sound of a game you once played. No,
I can't say that's
What
ever
are you talking about, Steven? I am going to ask him about this tonight.
The weirdest thing.
What is the basis?
He was
of
in the
this
middle of
question?
typing his question and it happened.
He's like, oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's-
I wonder.
Remember when I was playing StarCraft?
It's like two really good questions and then this one. You
I
can't
don't
win them
even
all, Steven. You can't win them all. No,
So close.
This is the weirdest thing because it brought up in a memory for me. Is I know we were talking about Silverchair, that old '90s punk band from Australia. There is this weird sound in one of their songs that sounds like, and I was looking for it and couldn't find it before the episode. It sounds like a door opening in Star Trek or something. It's like whoop, randomly in the middle of the song. And as a kid, listening to the same cassette tape 100 times, I heard it so many times it stuck out, and I like knew it was coming. And I wish I could find it and play it. I'll find it later and I'll post it. But it just is so frustrating. I've never knew where that sound came from, why they included it, what it had to do with anything.
Were they recording on a spaceship?
I don't know. We'll never know. Are Silverchair ancient aliens?
Wait.
No one's proven otherwise.
Yeah. No, there is no evidence that they aren't.
Okay. Next up, we've got one from Joe Mero. I love this question. It may be one of my all-time favorite listener questions. He asks, if you could imprison another 3-bit gamer into any video game of your choice, who would it be? What game would it be? And would you like to have the ability to take control of them?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I got to hear your answer before I want to. My answer will be a direct response to your answer.
I thought about torturing
I've
people.
just decided if I wanted to give someone like an enjoyable experience.
That's what I did. So I put Lynn in Stardew Valley. I'm like,
She would love
let's
it
be honest.
so much.
Lynn wants to live in Stardew Valley.
Like, see, I chose
let's be-
against the positive experience.
Yeah,
But
so I thought about it. I was like, what would be? I'd want to go see Peterson disemboweled in Dark Souls 100 times. Yeah, I would. But it would also be funny to see you in Rocket League. I would love to see Peterson
thought
in
about
Rocket
that. I
League.
thought
Just
about
like
that.
he would.
Woohoo! Big
Yeah.
grin on my face
Just
the
the
whole time.
whole time, just driving your car.
are
for
they there
8 hours.
permanently, or is this just like
No, I
It
don't
says
know.
in prison. It sure
in
sounds
prison as
prison.
long as I want you there?
Oh my
Yeah,
I'm
so-
putting Peterson in WildStar.
You're you die alone. You're the only one there.
The servers are shut down.
It's like
just
that.
you.
It's like that episode of
It's
Black
like
Mirror.
It's like Wreck-It Ralph.
No,
is
there was
what
an episode
yeah.
of Black Mirror, the video game one. That's
what it would be.
That's what it would be. Like you'd be stuck there by
screw
yourself
you,
forever
Trent.
in
You'd love it.
Wildstar.
Yeah, it would grow on you. After
Like,
a year
I
or two,
hate
you'd be like,
this
okay,
so
I get it.
much.
And I'd also put Trent in Mario RPG.
Yes. Oh, the benevolent Jonathan.
Here's the thing: if I have to imprison you guys if I have to put you in there to watch you, like I'll put you in all sorts of shit.
Do you
But
want
if
to be
I'm-
able to play the person? Like control them?
I don't care about that.
No,
No, I don't want you
I want to be able
do
to
it.
watch them.
I want to watch. Yeah, I want to watch Lynn play Stardew Valley and finally just be the happiest. I feel like Lynn's happiest self lives in Stardew Valley.
She would go befriend that girl who's always playing video games. I can't remember which
Yeah,
one it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And she would they'd always be in the room together playing video games and just hanging out.
I think this question kind of ends like the episode, at the end of an episode of Black Mirror. Like it zooms out and you see the character doing the same things over and over again. And in Black Mirror style, the people are miserable and they're like, "Oh my god, what a hell!" And then you kind of are left with that pit in your stomach at the end of the episode. I want to zoom out and being like, "Look, the people are finally happy." Lynn's just like, "Thank God, I'm here. I found it, Stardew Valley." And Trent's just doing Mario RPG. That's kind of like an open world, right? Like you could explore and wander around.
For the most part, yeah.
and you get to hang out with your favorite Disney character or Mario character.
Peterson, I
Not
thought about
Disney.
putting you in
Disney
PUBG
characters.
forever, and I was like, I think you'd kind of like that. PUBG would
Always
be
on the
fun.
same-
No, I would be hiding the whole time. I would just hide. I'd be.
You get
No,
a respawn, though.
I think you'd become like a god. I think you would become a god if you were in it. Yeah.
Mine was okay. So I thought about this. JD is always been kind of fascinated by space and space exploration.
Imprison me in space.
Well, so I just put him out in space and just let him float around.
Tight.
Hey, see how much you like space now? No,
You like space now, bitch? Now that you can't breathe.
no. And of course we've been playing a ton of FTL. So there was like a funny version and a not funny version. The funny
me in
one,
FTL forever.
The funny one would be putting you in FTL on one of the ships because he would be so stressed out. JD would be
'Cause you can't
stressed
pause
out
it.
the whole
You can't
time.
pause it.
Yeah, everything's on fire. My
Always.
building is my spaceship
Yes.
is on fire.
Yes, I have to go fight a giant praying mantis right now. Bitch, I'm trying to fly this spaceship.
and his cockpit is on fire, and there's a giant rock creature in there.
Just stomping it out. Wait, I have to physically fight a rock creature with my hands? I was just
Yeah.
putting a fire out.
You've got a little taser. But the other one that I think, honestly, like if JD was in a world like this, he would love, is something like, oh gosh, why can't I remember the name of the game now? The space exploration one.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, which is what I thought you were going to say first.
Yes, put JD in No Man's Sky and let him fly from planet to planet
Yeah.
and meet aliens and just talk and discover technology and learning. Like, I think
that-
you would love it.
That would be if I got to choose. That would be really high up there. No Man's Sky would be really high up there.
That would be a blast,
because
right?
eternity is a long time. Being in prison somewhere seems like it's like a long time.
Just until
'Cause,
I'm
like,
bored with it. is
Okay,
what would
because like
happen.
if I was like, oh well, Skyrim or like something like that, if I was playing Skyrim, my whole life, like 8 hours, 16 hours a day, yeah, I'd get through it pretty quick and then I'd get bored of the world. But No Man's Sky is so
What if
massive.
it wasn't just Skyrim, though? What if it was like
Tamriel.
all of it?
Yeah, then I'd want that.
I'd be an NPC.
all of
probably.
Tamriel. Yes, please.
I'd just hide as an NPC. I'd just stand there in one place. Like, he won't be able to find me and try to control me. Nothing bad will happen if I'm just sitting here as an NPC.
What other ones do you have, Peterson?
So that's all I had. I just wanted to put you in a space game.
Okay.
I
Trent,
had the
in
Rocket
space.
League thought for him, too. I thought that would be funny.
I think it would be fun to play Rocket League because the cars are essentially invincible.
Yeah, they can't get
unless they
smashed
hit
up.
each other. And so just like flying around would be super
Or just
fun.
putting us all in Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, without taking actual damage. That'd be a
You can
blast.
respawn.
Trent, but yeah, before that, your back would get smashed in
That's
your.
fine. It comes back.
Yeah, but
It's
it hurts.
temporary.
You're feeling that physical pain.
More
Yeah,
happens.
I wonder.
So the cars are. You have a morphine drip hooked up to the car, and then you're doing it.
yes.
You don't feel anything. You can see it happening to your
You're
body.
like, oh shoot, Trent,
lost
look,
an arm.
my
Oh.
arm is dangling at the wrong angle. This is crazy.
finish me off. Somebody finish me off. It's like that Tom Cruise movie. Okay, next up we've got this one from Nick Francom, and he asks Frankum. Guys,
I knew
again,
some people
asking the
Frankum.
deep questions here.
what are you most afraid of?
So is this like? It,
Period.
are you
No,
guys
just
answering
period.
this in real life or video games?
No.
Real life, just period. What are you
Ooh, that's
most
good.
afraid of?
Let's do both. What am I most afraid of in video games? Timers. Things that are
Like when
countdowns. The worst thing in video games that I'm most afraid of are countdowns.
And you can see it, and then it starts getting
At the top of the
flashing
screen.
red.
Yep.
And you're like, oh no, gotta go.
Nope.
That mission on Halo, was it Halo 2? Mm-hmm. Where you're
You have
driving
to
the
drive out.
car.
There's one on Halo 3 too.
That was so stressful.
Fuck that.
What are you in real life? What are you most afraid of?
I have no major fears. Jackson hates this. Everyone else reacts so poorly, but I'm not like I can think and be like, oh, I'm afraid of spiders.
Just
or
that you're not
heights.
aware of yet.
Yeah, none that I've found, but like
JD, you're challenging a whole audience of people. Be like, I'm gonna come over and torture you, and
I know. Eye stuff. I guess I'm afraid of my eyes being
That's something
gouged
I'm pretty
out.
scared
Is that
of.
a fear?
Torture.
though?
You're scared of being tortured.
your eyes.
Is
being
anyone
gouged.
not? Yeah. Is anyone not afraid of their eyes being gouged
Yeah,
out?
but like, what's like an a thing that you're
Game of Thrones style, like
Yeah, like rip my skull and.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm just thinking of things that are horrifying. I don't
Things that
want to
would
happen to me. That's not something I'm like actively afraid of.
Kind
Like I
of
wake
is,
up in the
though.
morning and I'm like, my eyes are still in my skull. Thank God, I was so afraid.
woke up in a cold sweat.
No, I've
because your eyes were being
been
gouged
swimming in
out.
the ocean. I've gone skydiving. I mean,
you're bringing up all these things that I'm scared of now.
I'm the spider guy. Whoever I live with, I have to deal with the spiders, and I play with them instead of killing them because I think they're
Stop.
so cute.
I'm scared of spiders. I'm scared of the ocean.
You want to come in my
I'm
crawl
scared
space?
of the dark.
I go through my crawl space, and
No.
it's not pleasant, but I'm not afraid of it.
No, there was a crawl space, and they wanted us to. When we bought our house, in our old house in Seattle, they said, "Oh yeah, no, you just need to put some insulation on some of those pipes down there." Never did it because I never was going to go down there. I was like, "Well, that's not going to happen."
Let me describe this to you. I had to run a long Ethernet cable from my router, which is on one end of my house, all the way to my office, which is on the other far end corner of the house. So someone that had lived there before had drilled a hole through the floor into the crawl space. So I went crawling into the crawl space and grabbed the Ethernet, which is like a couple hundred feet long, and I went crawling through this crawl space, and Jenna was in my office with a flashlight shining it through the hole, and so I can see kind of just vaguely down through the crawl space, and at the very far corner, which feels like it's a million miles away. My house is tiny, but it is the crawl space is 1,000 feet long apparently, and I could see this tiny little like pillar of light.
Narnia situation.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh fuck! And so I have to climb through this on my hands and knees, and then right down the middle, like the center beam, there's a big duct that is insulated, like you just described, about like 3 inches of squishy insulation wrapped around a pipe,
Making you all itchy.
and so I have to crawl under it, and the pipe, it's about a foot of clearance. And so the pipe is pressing down on you the whole time, this soft insulation, as you're like crawling underneath it, and it's pressing you down, and then you get a bunch of fucking cobwebs in your face.
All of this to have internet in another room.
And I'm crawling this, and then I get the cord, and I push it up through the hole, and Jenna's like, oh, you made it. I was like, oh, and I crawled back, and then I just like ran and sat in my shower fully clothed.
Yeah, now picture this.
Like
that
James
same
Bond.
scenario.
Yeah.
Jenna's not home. It's in the middle of the night, and there's no lights. You'd hate it.
I would hate
That
it,
would
but
be
I'm-
terrifying.
It's not. No,
You'd be
I'm not
scared that like a
afraid.
clown was going to pop out and stab
Not
you
afraid
in the
of
crawl
clowns,
space or
snake?
something.
Not afraid of. I love snakes.
Okay,
I love
so-
all animals. So no animals.
I
scare
can
me.
appreciate animals, but so here's
No, I love them all.
Here's my real life fears. So I am afraid of heights, but it's not like something I won't do.
Right.
It's not debilitating. But here are
I
things,
rock climb, so I'm not
here are
afraid of
things
heights.
that I have learned through my subconscious that I'm afraid of, because there are 2 things that happen in my dreams regularly. And maybe if any of you are dream analysts, let me know what's happening in my
Joseph
head.
over here is.
So
I've been known to.
so
Sing it. Sing
Sing
about
it.
your dream,
he wants
Joseph.
to now. It's in his head. It's in his head. We were not
close
continuing.
my eyes.
Trent's
Trent has played
signature role.
Joseph in the
4
Technicolor
times.
Dreamcoat
Yeah,
4 separate times.
That's his signature role. Okay, so in my dreams, deep water, as Trent mentioned. So I knew I was like afraid of this. I don't like it. Like we were snorkeling in Hawaii at the edge of a reef.
Yes.
And at the edge there was all of these turtles. Just the huge turtles, and I was like, "Oh, awesome! I got to go out there and see them." So I'm swimming, and there's like turtles everywhere around me. And then I look down, and I can't see the bottom. And then I remember that shark's favorite food is sea turtle, and
not a thing.
Yes, it is.
It's not a fucking thing.
Oh yeah,
maybe in Hawaii
it
it is.
absolutely is. And I
Gotta
panicked.
Google it now.
I freaking panicked.
Why would your favorite food have a shell on it?
I mean, they're not super hard
People
shell.
like clams.
Yeah, people like clams. Octopus eat clams all the time. So let's see. So, but in my dreams, this happens. There's always water. It'll be a lake, a river, something, and I will be outside of it on a boat or a bridge or on the beach, and a huge wave will come and pull me into the water every single time. I know it's going to happen. This is a recurring thing that happens to me, but I'm like terrified. The second one is I've held snakes. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with snakes. I think it is finding a snake in the wild in an uncontrolled situation and big ones. So like in my dreams,
Big ones are dangerous ones.
well, that's the thing. At first I can't tell the difference because I'm just seeing the like,
Okay.
because
Brain's
what'll
still
happen
deciding.
is the like sand or something will like shift and I'll see a big body of a snake that was underneath it. And then I'm like, oh crap.
That just excites me.
And they'll be everywhere in my dream. And apparently I'm afraid of snakes. Like if it's like a pet snake, I've held them. I've owned pet snakes. But
you have a
a snake
primal,
in the wild.
primal fear of snakes.
yeah. I don't know what it is. It terrifies me.
We were out in Bear Lake, Trent and I and Jackson's and our significant others, and we were boating, and I fell off the boat. I had a life vest, obviously, and they were swinging back around, and so you're sitting there floating in the water, and it's kind of cold, and you look down, and it is just pitch black.
Yeah.
And I look out, and there's not shore for miles, like on either side. You can kind of see the mountains in the distance. Then I actively chose to envision myself floating in a big empty ocean just to feel like I was like, oh, this would be so cool.
Oh, no.
No, these things, I don't know. I'm not trying to be like a cool guy either. Jackson always used to
Okay.
get so mad about
Yeah.
this. But I was like, no, it's like you can say, I'm afraid of heights or snakes. Like, there's nothing that I think of that I'm like, that freaks me out. Nothing like really freaks me out.
Like, could you stand on the edge of a cliff and just stand there with your toes
I have
off the
tons
edge?
of pictures of me doing that.
Oh gosh, no, I can't.
See-
if I need to look up a cliff, I am on my
I'll
belly.
pull some up on Facebook
I'm
right
on
now.
my belly crawling.
See, I have a lot of fears. I don't know that any of them are debilitating enough that that it would prevent me from doing something.
I would never freeze up, right?
Yeah. So like we were in Hawaii last summer, and I remember we were snorkeling, and there were these little spinner dolphins that showed up, and we started chasing them.
Nice.
And then you get out to where it's so deep you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And they start diving down, and all these other snorkelers start diving down after them. And I was like, nope. Nope. There's something down there. I think my most debilitating fear is spiders.
Get the F out. That's not you.
I have more pictures.
JD's
more
got a
recent-
picture of
Don't
him.
lean back. Now stand forward and look
Nope,
down.
I can't. Oh gosh, like the thought of that gives me the willies.
Like this?
Ugh! Stop it. JD's showing us a picture of him literally on the edge of a cliff, just like looking over the edge.
Now jump.
Okay, well,
Are you going to be scared when you jump?
You know those videos?
No, because I've jumped out of a plane.
Yeah, but jump without a
8 times.
parachute.
Wait,
okay.
are you telling him to commit suicide?
I feel like at this point you're just asking me if I'm afraid of, like, literally dying.
Well, aren't you?
What about losing your legs, JD, and your arms?
Okay, that one's...
No,
Yeah,
I could.
we
I've
can't
thought about
go there.
I could lose my legs.
Arms.
I could lose my.
I could
Arms,
lose my
I
legs.
said.
I couldn't
I
lose
could
my
lose
arms.
one arm.
No. Think about all the things you can no longer do if you lose an arm.
Name them.
You can't
play.
You can't go rock climbing.
You can.
Can't be a successful.
I have
golfer.
2 legs and 1 arm.
I was going to say you can't be a successful drummer, and then I was like Def Leppard. But
No, I appreciate this.
Play the
I like this. Like, 'cause I'm
saxophone.
like, is there? Jackson and I used to play this game when we lived together. Like,
Play the guitar.
there's something, and you're going to come across it at some point in your life, and it's going to freak you
the
out.
shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's twins.
What?
Twins freak the shit out of me.
They're
Like
so cute.
just visually. if
People
you see
should not
twins.
look the same.
I know.
That freaks me out.
If there are twins, I just want to stare at them and like look back and
Twins
forth.
are all right. Twins that dress the same, that's my fear. That's my major fear. Twins dressing
What about-
alike.
Is it
Fuck
just kids
off.
or adults?
All twins?
twins.
Oh, adult twins are even creepier because you have the option to not dress the same and you've chosen to do your beard and your clothing the same. There's something wrong with you guys. Get out of here. No twins. That's
okay,
it.
we need to find JD's doppelganger and have him just pay him to hang out with JD
If
for like
another
a week.
me showed up and knocked on my front door and it looked exactly like me, you know, people are like holding their hands up, is like, is this a mirror? I would freak the fuck out. I wouldn't be like, I wonder what's going on, or did I get cloned? I was like, that guy needs to die. I don't care what happens. That
There can
dude-
only be one me.
Yeah, there's one me and the other one's dead.
Oh, so
I'm
you're
gonna fucking kill you.
you're afraid of time travel
I'm afraid
situations.
of doppelgangers and time travelers.
Time travel situation. If JD ever comes back, I'm
Every
future
night.
JD. He's gonna kill himself
Every night, the same fucking dream. It's always me. It's always me knocking
hate
on the
that
door.
bastard.
I hate that fucking guy. My biggest fear is a doppelganger of myself showing
That's a
up.
good question.
All right, this
man.
one comes from Jackson. He says, I just finished building, making Trent build my PC. Where do I start? What game would you recommend getting into right now? No, this is really interesting because Jackson just built his own PC. Jackson has
Yeah, what are his
middle
specs?
level experience.
He's got a pretty decent,
he's got a good
like
PC.
mid-level build.
You get 1070.
Like, no, it's not a 1070.
1060.
It's not a 1060 either. It's that kind of like mid-range one that came out in between. It's a weird.
1050?
It's not a 1050. It's like a 1060 something. Let me see what it is.
It's better than mine.
It's
It's better than mine, yeah.
performance-wise, it's the equivalent of like a
An
little
Xbox.
better than a 1060, I think.
Okay.
So he's got a good machine. Jackson's experience with PC gaming has had a 20-year gap. I think the last time he was playing PC games was like Worms.
It's a 1660.
1660? Okay. Was playing like Worms and stuff and like Army Men games on the PC.
So it's been a while.
It's been a minute. So
Leisure Suit Larry.
well, I'm just wondering, like, where do you start?
Here's where
as
you start.
as initial PC gaming.
Initial PC games, there is a plethora of free-to-play gaming options out there. Just start experimenting. Like download Steam,
Yeah.
download Steam,
Okay.
and just start downloading some free-to-play games. And like, because he hasn't played a ton, he knows he likes sports games. I don't know what free-to-play options there are there, but like,
there's this entire world he hasn't discovered yet, and I think that's crazy.
Epic Game Store. They do a free game every week, don't they?
yeah.
Ooh, that might not be a bad idea.
But
is
that,
to
so
get
that's one of those
either
subscriptions,
access.
like Origin Access or something like that.
You
and
should
just
get
try
Origin
it.
Access.
Yeah.
How much is it for a month?
10?
It's like 10 or
12?
15 bucks.
Yeah.
That's what
Like
I'd say,
that.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Get Origin Access because
So then you get
have
big
access
games,
to
but-
tons of different games. You can play major AAA titles. You can play indie games.
I would not just go buy anything. I would not go buy like a $60 game
Never
at all.
I don't buy $60
Yeah,
games.
just get some sort of subscription or download free-to-play games on Steam and just like find like a Steam curator that kind of matches with like your preferences.
Just
and
play
start
Rocket
trying
League.
stuff.
This is
Ooh,
what
Rocket
it's
League's
not
free.
I know,
Is-
but just
it's
play
not?
it. It's
Oh,
only like
no.
$30.
He should own Rocket League. I feel like this is the most exciting time though to be for a gamer is like when they're discovering new stuff. Jenna just started playing. Is it Planet Zoo? Mm-hmm. It's like a
Zoo tycoon type
It's a
thing,
zoo
right?
tycoon
Yep.
sim, but
Yep.
it's like an adult zoo tycoon, so it's a ton more to do. It's so much deeper. And she never played a game. She'd played Zoo Tycoon way back when she was a kid, but she like in her new experience as a gamer, she's never really dug into one of these. We were walking the dogs this morning. She turns to me like, Zoo Tycoon is a problem, or Planet Zoo is a problem for me. I was like, what? She's like, we went to bed at like midnight, and I was up till 2, just laying there thinking about how to like rebuild
layouts.
And I was like, now you get it because I've been there. I've
Like
been
once
there.
someone finds their thing.
Yeah, and there's so many things that I'm not
When
sure.
I think sim games like that, simulation games, I think there's one for everyone. That's a genre that I periodically crave to
See,
play.
I don't think I've dabbled in it enough to really. I've never played any of them.
You just got to find one.
I
You're
played
like,
Sim Ant
oh,
with
I like
Jonathan when I
this.
was like
Oh my
8.
I still have that computer in my
Sim
garage. If you want to
Ant?
play on my Apple II, we could play some Sim Ant. Sim Ant was dope.
Yes, that game.
Let me tell you how early I was playing Sim
I
Ant.
forgot about that game.
I was playing Sim Ant before I could read very well.
Back when you could rent video games from the library.
Yeah.
Oh my
and there was this
gosh.
pop-up that came up that was about the enemy ant because you were always fighting the other ant colony. And I guess I was a shitty reader or something, but I always called him in my head the empty ant. And in my brain, I was like, he's the empty ant because he's hungry and he's coming to eat my ants. And I was
Kids'
always
brains.
afraid of the empty ant.
Kids' brains.
They're
Just
so,
wish I had
fun-
a kid's
they're
brain
so
all the time.
wrong and
They're
bad.
just so messed
They
up.
just don't work.
They will find an error, like something like that. They'll read it wrong and make it make sense for them in their head.
Yeah.
And then it just makes sense. That's part of their life now.
So, Jackson, look at EA Origin Access. Look at Xbox Games Pass because he will have access to that on a PC, right? Mm-hmm. So I would look at the games in those and one or the other or both because it'll still be cheaper than buying a game. Okay, next up we have this one from MNP Chan.
MNP Chan.
Jan.
Don't
from
try
our-
to read it.
I won't. From our Discord server. He says, I don't remember if you've done this one or not, but if you could turn any video game into a board game, which game would you do and how would it be played? We've done this before, but it's been like years.
It's been a long time. I don't even remember what my answer
Well,
was.
we turned like reality TV shows into board
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
dope. And one of our listeners, I think Daniel, reached out and pitched
I was talking about this
like
last
a
night
fully
with JD.
fleshed out game. Like Daniel Jenkins, one of our listeners.
You want to make a bachelor game? Here's how I would do it.
Here's the rule set. Here's the entire game, and we were like, Peterson and I were like, I want to fucking make that right now.
I know.
I don't have time.
Like that's. I was telling JD last night. I was like, man, if I had like the time and energy to do this, 100% I would make that game.
It looks so sick.
Okay, but this is.
I'm stoked to revisit this because you know what I wanted.
This is a video game to a board game.
No, you know what I want.
FTL.
Done. That's all I want. We talked about this with Aaron, and Aaron said they have games that exist
translates
already.
across pretty easy too.
It really does.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. Same with
Every turn, you just move the little slider. Like you could absolutely build this like shot for shot because you could replicate all the random events with cards.
Yep. It would have be card based.
Mm-hmm.
There would be so your ship would be a tile based situation because then you put like fire tiles on it when
And
your
then you
ship's
just
on
clear
fire.
the board 5 or 6 times, and if you can get through 6 or 7, and then the boss is an entirely different. Dude, an FTL board game makes itself.
Mine was, this is a little bit outside the box, Untitled Goose Game, the board game. But it wouldn't be a board game per se. Here's what it would be. Have you ever played an Escape the Room board game? So it's like an escape room board game.
No.
Here's what it would be. It would be that, but you'd have to name it something clever. Like either just be called Untitled, because the player, there would be a player and a DM or whatever you'd call it, someone running the game. The player has no idea. They know it's an escape room situation where you're like supposed to solve puzzles and do this stuff, but they don't know they're a goose. This is the key. They come into it not knowing that they're a goose, and so there's nothing for them to read because geese can't read.
They can't grab anything.
They
can.
but they don't know that. So every time they're like, "Oh, I want to pick that up." They'll pick it up, and if they go to pick up something else, you have to
drop
tell them,
it.
"Oh, you just dropped the rake, and now you picked up." And they're like, "Why am I dropping everything?" Pick it up with my other hand. You reach for it, nothing happens.
Oh my god!
Like and you would just describe things basically and it would be like how a goose would see it.
That's
right?
funny.
So it would be way bigger. It would be, you know what I mean? And people
made
would
a
get
torture
so
sim.
mad.
Thank you.
They would get so mad until they figured it out and then be like,
Then it's easy.
I'm not a human.
Ah,
And then
okay.
you'd call it like, I was like, what would I call it? I'd call it probably Untitled,
Mm-hmm.
or I'd call it UGG, UGG.
Yeah.
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
Just UGG. But like, so, and there'd be visual cues, like there'd be cards and pictures you'd show them, but there would be no writing on them. It would just be like nonsense because that's what words
Geese
would
don't
look like.
speak
Squiggle.
English, yeah.
Yes.
It'd be like
Dude,
the Charlie
I was
Brown.
like, I don't know. It would be so
wah, wah,
funny for someone who had no idea going into it.
That would be
And then
funny.
they realized, and you could have more people playing, like 2 or 3 people playing at once. Then they realize they are controlling a goose and not a human. I think it'd be hilarious.
I like that.
And on theme, just trolling.
Trent, do you have one?
I don't really have one for this. I don't have the most
The
board
breadth
game
of experience,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really know.
Slay the Spire was my other one.
Ooh, it is already a board game.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one is a voicemail that comes from Skylar.
If you could bail out any video game company, past or present, and your funds were limitless, which company would you pick and why? Thank you.
So my answer to this was a little different before this news came in. The Bungie guy news came in. But I originally would have said Ensemble Studios. Ensemble Studios, these are the guys that made Age of Empires 1, 2, 3, and then Halo Wars. And then they were shuttered by Microsoft, not because their products were failing, not because their games were bad, or not because they weren't successful, because Halo Wars, it was very successful, but just because it was Microsoft just, cleaning up. There was a finance guy at Microsoft that decided that was the decision to be made. And
These guys
we
haven't made us
lost.
money in a few years. so
Yeah,
it's,
and we lost those devs. Like, they just kind of scattered to the winds. A few of them formed another studio, made some stuff, but it wasn't that big of a deal, and I would have really liked that. But, after we talked about the news of the Halo co-creator founding his own studio, I think that would be... That's exactly... V1 Interactive that's where I would give them money, because they are deliberately doing things to focus on work-life balance, and they should have a bunch of money, because I want to give them money before some big studio comes in, buys them, and kills all that.
Well, so I had a similar, almost exactly similar thought.
Also a similar thought. But
So
You guys love Age of Empires too?
No.
Nice.
In 2016, a few employees, I think it was 2016, a few employees from Blizzard left and started
And
their
made
own
WildStar.
studio. No, not that one. No.
You want to bring back WildStar, Peterson?
I wanna give-
2016's a little late,
I
but
want to give
you're-
WildStar all the money.
Crazy.
No, they started a studio. I think it was called, oh gosh, what's it called? I'm looking it up right now. Bonfire. And I don't know what they're doing or what they're working on, but things like that, a studio like that, where it was people who worked as creative directors at a large company that does good games, and then they want to go and do a passion project.
Yep.
I want to give them all the money.
Yeah, not like that was my thing. Is I thought like Ensemble would be cool to bring them back to life, but at this point, I want to just give creators like a bunch of money. I almost thought Hello Games, the guys that are behind No Man's Sky. I mean, they already have a shit ton of money, but giving them a bunch of money and
giving
just
them
seeing-
money after they fixed it.
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you got, Trent?
Mine was Rare before it was absorbed by Microsoft. So like late 90s, early 2000s Rare, where they were kicking out like Donkey Kong Country, GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie, like all the good platformers and stuff. Because I feel like that style of platforming game, like lately we've got similar stuff like Yooka-Laylee, I guess. But I feel like it kind of died along with Rare back when Microsoft took over. And I miss that style of gaming.
Oh my god, dude! Now you've got me thinking about freaking old defunct studios. What about Acclaim?
Remember that logo in my head?
I know.
Bring
Acclaim.
back Sega Genesis.
Oh my god, all of these games. I'm just like looking through their list. It is so long.
It
They
would-
made so many effing games.
For me, it would definitely, though, be some sort of indie team, because I think of some of my favorite games ever: Slay the Spire, Into the Breach, and FTL. Those are like the same for me. Gorogoa. What's the Streets of Rogue? Right?
Oh, I'd give
Like-
Matt Dabrowski so much money.
Just give him money. Be like, go make something.
Yeah.
The other one, my joking answer though, would be Star Citizen.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know
Such
anything
a
about
joke.
this? Star Citizen. It
It's
was
like the
announced.
space sim.
A space sim that
all
was
these
announced
crazy
in like 2011.
spaceships and-
It was going to be crazy. They raised. I'm looking this up. They
Was
raised
it a Kickstarter?
a crowdfunding campaign. They raised $250 million. And they were like, "This game's full launch is going to be in 2014." It has
It
not
looked
been.
so amazing,
Are
too.
they still working on it?
Like, it was so hyped.
The more money they make, the more features they decide they want to add.
Wait, this
And
is active development still?
It's
9
been-
years later?
Yes.
Well, God, $200 million.
It's never coming out.
They've
endless
released,
runway.
like demos or like beta versions. I
It's
think,
never
haven't they?
and they've gone through a couple rounds of funding, and every time they get a bunch of money, they're like, "Oh shoot, well let's add this then, let's add this," and they keep adding stuff and adding stuff.
Well, dude, $250 million that's runway for a studio at least a decade.
Dude,
And if they keep getting more money, that's fucking
Star
crazy.
Citizen, unlimited funds.
You should look this up. This is funny.
Yeah,
It is very
You're going to
funny.
give more money, so
it
they
will
just-
be in development.
It comes
forever.
out in 2035, and it is the Oasis from Ready Player
No,
One.
they've already missed their mark. They wanted it to be the Oasis. That was their idea 15 years ago. And then they have unlimited funds. They were like, wait, what if we turn the real world into the video game? Oh my gosh.
What if we required your blood type?
What if we actually went to space?
They just,
What if this game
they're
was
actually
only
competing
played
with
They're
SpaceX.
on
actually
Mars?
building fucking rockets, and we just don't know. They're like, no, we're building a real life Star Citizen. What? All right, so we've also got another one from an MNP Chan, and he asks, if Trent were to invite you guys to create a cookie for Crave, which rude that he hasn't, what would you make?
I've asked.
And
It was like a real empty gesture. Ask
Yeah.
Trent.
yeah, well, and then when you laugh after you ask and you say, hey, you guys want to make me a cookie?
What would you make?
While I was
Let's
answering,
hear it.
He was flipping me off the whole time.
Jonathan
under
said the
table.
other day, you should make a potato chip cookie. And
That's
I was
what I
like,
want.
It's coming.
That's what I want. I love everything cookies. I like when they put just everything in the cookie. If that's nuts and raisins and potato chips and chocolate chips and
Chocolate
fucking
and
M&Ms.
chocolate chips?
It's different.
Put
And
little mini
M&Ms.
cookies on top of the cookie.
Put Famous Amos inside of the cookie.
Dude, you guys should see some of these ideas. I've got some where I've taken like a mini cinnamon roll,
Okay.
stuffed it inside the cookie,
Okay.
and then on top of the cookie put like a jelly donut, and then covered the whole thing in like icing. Oh, so good.
And this is why Trent has diabetes.
Right.
Almost.
I mean, he's
He's
I'm trying.
pre-diabetic.
who is your like teenage stoner consultant on these? Like, who is the stoner that you're calling up to be like, dude?
Dude, this is like 10
What's your
o'clock at
next
night.
idea?
Trent
Chad.
going through the pantry like,
Chad.
these look good together.
Chad, here's a bunch of weed. Go smoke it. Come back with an idea. You've got an
He
hour.
comes back and says, just take handfuls of brown sugar and just throw it on top of some frosting.
Trent. Oh, man. Oh, I got this idea, man.
It'll be real good.
This cookie's going to be the best. Okay, this is what you do. You take fucking a jelly donut.
What about hot sauce?
Take the jelly out, but save it because you're going to want it later.
Just take the donut husk.
Now take your donut shell and put your whole fist in it. Don't worry. It'll make sense.
You gotta hold your fist there, though. Do not release what's in your fist.
Like this type of cookie, dude.
What is that?
I'm going to read you the description.
It's a monster.
It is a circus animal cookie covered in
I like
rainbow
this.
sprinkles, gooey butter bar, and vanilla frosting, stuffed with circus animal crackers
I do
and
want this.
Maybe
White
is
chocolate?
this just like cookie industry talk that we're supposed to know what a butter bar is?
Dude.
The fuck is that?
random Instagram profiles of places that just ship cookies across the country, and they've got like hundreds of thousands of followers. It's wacky.
What is a butter bar? All I know is I want to eat it so bad.
You said butter bar, and I got hungry, so I guess I want it.
You just got to make up words, and people are like,
What
"Yep."
does that mean?
Okay, now I want to hear the cookies.
Okay, so no, I want, because my favorite like ice cream flavor is coffee ice cream with like caramel and toffee. So here's what I was thinking: it's a cookie with, I think you can put little toffee bits in the cookie with a nice richly flavored coffee cream on top, and then drizzled with caramel. That's what I want.
That'd be pretty
I've
good.
never had a coffee cookie. Now
like
that I
like a
think of it. That
coffee
is
like a
unbelievable.
frosting type thing, and
Yeah.
then like
Because I fucking love coffee
well
flavor.
they make.
Me
I
too.
told you
It's the
Nestle
best.
Nestle makes coffee chips now, like actual coffee baking chips.
Oh yeah. The butter, their butterscotch chips are good, and I don't
Yeah.
like butterscotch.
So yeah, maybe coffee chips and like
Toffee.
caramel chips or toffee inside, or you can
Yeah.
sprinkle toffee on top.
There's got to be a coffee one sometime.
There's got to be. So
I just like-
I like.
Did you
coffee
guys
flavored
come up
stuff.
with cookies, and then I'll make them, and then you can name them.
Oh,
Deal.
man.
Deal. And listeners, if you guys have a cookie idea, you can leave us a voicemail. You can go to 3bitgamershow.com and just click leave us a voicemail. It's on the main page. Or you can hit us up. We're on Discord. We have a Discord channel, and you can find that on our Twitter or our Facebook. And we're on both of those at 3-Bit Gamer Show. But yeah, you got cookie ideas. Hit them. Let's hear them. I want to hear them.
We want to hear food ideas.
Oh God, we have a food channel in our Discord just for food.
And it
We
does
had
get a
to
lot
create
of chatter.
a section of our Discord because the food conversations were too distracting.
Yep.
All right, so that is it. But we asked you guys to call in and give us your best croissant. Say croissant
did it.
as French as possible.
Croissant.
And we got one
A
from
croissant cookie. I said it first.
Croissant.
So don't.
Suki.
Ew.
They have what are those called?
Cronut.
Cronuts, which is a croissant donut. All
Get a
right,
cronut burger.
here is Jason's croissant.
I just want you to leave you my croissant.
That was beautiful.
Croissant.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Your R was too pronounced for
I don't think
the
French people can say R.
Croissant. It's croissant.
And you really want to try to say the whole word through your nose.
Your
The
mouth
noise
moves,
yeah,
but for
but
no
the noise
reason.
is coming out of your nostrils. Like, get real.
So that was a good first effort. If you've got a croissant for us, give it to us.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
Dice of destiny.
I want to play the acapella one, but you got to mix it up. I don't want people to get like tired
You
of
don't want
it.
to get bored of the.
We don't want him to get used to it.
Yeah. So Dice of Destiny is this game we play at the end of every episode. We take a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres on it. We roll that. We take a 6-sided dice to roll how much $10 to $60 you can spend on it. And then finally we roll to see who has to play a game that fits that genre and that price. Pick it, review it, play it, whatever. Peterson
I got it again.
has been just the
Back
destiny.
to back to back.
It is
So many
your destiny.
experiences.
It is
So
your
jealous.
destiny.
So much experience.
So you have
Fresh off of the MOBA roll, which we removed because it's so bad. I rolled a dating sim, which was another one of the dreaded genres that was in
Download
there.
Tinder.
Oh my
Wait.
God, does that count? you and Kelsey
Your
play
wife's
Tinder
like,
together.
what is going on?
Play Tinder together.
Yeah, I think you'd play Tinder with
But she-
someone. That'd be super fun.
She's getting tons of dick pics. I'm getting nothing.
yeah.
I'm
See how many
sending
dick pics you can get.
pics.
Oh my gosh.
Sent a dick pic to my wife on Tinder tonight. I never felt more alive.
Oh my god!
I missed out on
is
this
that
experience because it came
Yeah.
out after I was married.
Yeah, you're like, I've
Yeah,
never had the
yeah, I
experience
didn't
of
do that.
unsolicited dick pics, but now I know what it feels like. Weird.
No, I'm not playing Tinder. So I will say that navigating Steam's dating sim marketplace is a bleak pornscape. It's just, dude.
I just imagine Kelsey standing over your shoulder while
Oh
you're
no!
browsing. She's
No
like,
one's allowed in the room because it is. I kid you not, 95% porn games where they all look the same, and I don't understand. It's like, oh, highest rated. How do you even tell the difference? They all look the same. I don't know. So,
You're
but
just not into it
You don't
enough.
play no, you get all of them.
I know, but
Just
why
get all of
why
them.
are some rated higher than others?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to find out. So what I did was I found the few that weren't real porny, and unfortunately the highest rated one was a game I had already played, which is Doki Doki Literature Club,
Right.
which is amazing. It's free to play. Play that, Jackson. Start with Doki Doki. No, so I found a game that's not porny, and it's called Monster Prom. It is a game where you're a high school
You're a
student, you're a monster,
monster.
and you have 3 weeks to find a date to the prom.
And then if it gets porny, you're like, ooh.
Wait, I don't want to see
Monsters have
penis.
2 of those? Have you played it at all?
I haven't. It's $11 on Steam, so
It's rude because I wanted to hear your first impressions.
Oh,
my god, the first impression, Rose.
my first impression is that it's not monster porn.
And it's not monster porn.
Find a sound clip for that.
Not monster porn?
Good luck.
I'm just going to cut it out of this episode.
Oh.
That's going to be the title of the episode. Not monster porn. All right. You guys hear that coming in? The Skyrim players hear that. They're like, what's going on? Where is it?
Uh-oh.
Is Skyrim starting on my phone now? I have Skyrim on my phone?
Skyrim via podcast.
I was just going to say, Todd Howard just announced that they have Skyrim on your podcast app now. You play the whole
gonna talk
thing
you through it.
audio style, yeah.
I want to see a Twitch plays Skyrim run through. Remember the Pokemon one?
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. You would just get in trouble all the time. You'd always be killing guards. Right, so that does it for us this week. To play us out, we have the theme from the Skyrim soundtrack, Dovahkiin.
It's real epic sounding.
We already pimped our social medias. I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
This is Trent signing out.
Peterson Productions.
You can't steal it from me. I am editing that out. Well, Internet, I underestimated you once again. I thought it might be hard to find a clip that said monster porn.
Monster porn.
The monster porn.
We just had a look at monster porn.
Monster porn. Disclaimer. Monster porn is not actually intended to be used as porn.
What is happening? I don't know.